The Twin Flames Universe Cult Summit actually happened this weekend. Yes, much to all of our surprise. So, today I want to see if we can uncover some of the things that happened over this weekend. Was it successful? What's going on inside the open forum that I have been banned from, but I got some resources to check in for me? So, I'm going to try to unpack everything I could find about this cult summit and see where this cult stands now. What is it looking like on the inside? Will we ever know what it truly looks like? And how are things beginning to operate? Hopefully, this will be a fun one for all of us. So, with that, sit back, relax, and take a deep breath. It's time to let the fresh air in. Hi, everyone. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Erin, and I am fascinated by all things cult, true crime, and unique spiritual practices. So, if you like this sort of thing too, please consider subscribing. I would absolutely love to have you here. Before we jump into today's video, Before we jump into this video, I want to thank today's sponsor, Aura. I have talked about them before. I absolutely love them. And as someone that covers very sketchy people for a living, it is imperative for me to feel protected online. I recently did a search of my name, and every time I do this, I'm horrified. I am scared because you can learn so much information about somebody. For me, I'm always like, this is really scary because what if somebody, I don't know, finds out where I live? But also, it makes it really easy for people to steal your identity, have access to all of your passwords for your banking information, your social media. It could be really, really scary. But thanks to Aura, I have a peace of mind because they are going to protect me and protect my identity. It is literally full spectrum online data protection. Not only do I get less spam calls and less spam emails, I can get an update on my credit score. I can see if my information is getting sold to data brokers, and if my name turns up on those websites, Aura will automatically request that my name and my information gets removed. And it helps protect us from data breaches from massive, massive companies. It will send us an alert if something like this happened, which recently did with AT&T and T and even United Healthcare, which is just scary in and of itself because nobody needs to know my medical history. And you might be thinking, okay, is this really a real threat? I protect all of my information. My passwords are solid. I think I'm fine. But I hate to tell you, these data brokers are like an unseen enemy who are making money off of selling your information to scammers, spammers, and everything in between. If any of my information had been compromised in this AT&T data breach or this United Healthcare hacking, I would feel complete peace of mind because I know I have Aura there to protect me. And if I didn't trust Aura enough already, I'm constantly getting notifications and a true picture of how Aura is protecting me. And if you still don't believe me, you can check it out for yourself at aura.com/ let the fresh Erin, and you will receive a 14-day free trial. I'm telling you, you are going to love it. And there's literally no risk, it's free. So make sure to check it out today and come back here and let me know how much you love Aura because I know you are going to get hooked. Thank you so much, Aura, once again for sponsoring this video. And with all of that, let's jump right into today's update. As much as I hate to admit it, Jeff and Shalia have done a fantastic job of concealing the details of their summit. And I, for one, have been very frustrated about this for several days now. I worked so hard to try to find a way to infiltrate the open forum. I had multiple contacts in it at one point, all to try to get some solid information so that I could bring you the best update possible. Finally, finally, I have an update for you, but I just want to go through all of the things that we have discovered so far about the Twin Flames Universe Summit. So I enlisted a friend of mine to infiltrate the forum to get some intel, and right away she started sharing just bits and pieces of information with me. Now I'm going to make sure everyone is anonymous unless we're talking about Jeff and Shalia themselves. So this is what my intel shared with me regarding the summit. Something that was really interesting to myself and I'll call them my intel, was the posts that we've reviewed before, but I want to share one just because I found it super ironic that in one of Jeff's lectures that he offers, he said he would be asking himself certain questions at the end of his life. They include, did I live my life in a way that was satisfying to me? Seems like you are, Jeff. Did I really honor my higher principles? Not my higher principles, but your principles aren't what normal people's principles are, considering not many of us want to scam and force people into relationships, but that's just me. Did I honor myself? Did I respect myself? Did I honor what I was given and what I had learned? Did I honor others? LOL. Did I honor humanity? LOL again. This time I'm LMAO. Did I contribute to humanity? LMFAO. Did I give my greatest gifts? I couldn't control how others treated me. All I could do is live with integrity and refuse to settle. Integrity, Jeff. Yikes. So, what was interesting about my friend getting involved in this forum last week? Because when both docuseries were released last year, there was an influx of people that went into this open forum. Myself was one of them, but I got kicked out after I started making videos about them, obviously. And I also can't see Jeff and Shalia's personal pages. I can't see any of their followers' pages. Everyone who's in their inner circle has me blocked. I cannot get any information from them themselves, and I think they must have clicked like block all other accounts this person makes. So I've always had to find some people to do a little digging for me, to the point where, and I'm going to get to this soon, but this person that I'm in contact with right now ended up getting kicked out of the group mid-summit simply because she asked about the summit. Because literally nobody was posting about the summit, even in the open forum. That's how hush hush they wanted to keep it. So at one point I was like, am I going to have a video for Tuesday? Like, I know they had to have had the summit. Are they just having everyone be extremely, extremely quiet? And honestly, we might learn more information this week, so I might be bringing you a part 2 of this video. But something that was new about when my friend got involved in this group was they started automatically pairing you with a coach just right off the bat. And I even asked my friend, like, did you ask for this? Did you ask to get paired with a coach? And they said, I did not ask for this. They just do this automatically, apparently. And they said, someone else posted when they were welcomed the other day, and this went down. Not sure what this is about, but I don't recall asking to be matched with anyone. Can someone help? Is this a group thing? I just need to know. I am not unconsciously creating soul ties with anyone. Already now. Thanks in advance. And someone responds and says, the coach that you're matched with will connect to you shortly as you have joined the group, so they will have a brief conversation with you. Hey, everyone is matched with a coach who is available to answer questions if you have any. You don't have to reach out to or connect to anyone. There's no expectation of a relationship or tie of any kind, just a contact person for those who want it. Sounds to me like they are just like trying to control all questions so that no questions that make it look like Jeff and Shalia are doing anything wrong are in the open forum. It's always so funny to me when I see cult leaders do stuff like this because they will scream at the top of their lungs, we're not a cult, we're not a cult, we're not a cult. And then they will try to close up their group as much as possible to ensure that no one gets any outside information. And then they block anyone that asks a legitimate question about the group or Jeff. That's cult behavior. You can't say you're not a cult and then do things that are so culty, so obviously. Like, it just blows my mind. Jeff and Shalia, they are smart people. They are very smart people, but they are not smart about not behaving exactly like cult leaders, in my opinion. So, what was interesting when my friend first got into this forum was people were starting to talk about the summit and they were saying, "Oh, I wish we had this huge mansion we could all move into and live together." And it made me start thinking, like, is this summit really happening? People were alleging it was going to be at Jeff's house. People were alleging it would be at a casino. And then the group literally just like went dark all weekend. I kept texting my friend, like, are there any updates? Like, I was expecting them to be like, met Jeff and Shalia. Here's a group photo. We're having such an amazing time at our summit because they're likely to have it next year, right? If it's a success. I just worked an actor summit and we were posting all weekend because we were having fantastic experiences. We also wanted to show people, hey, I learned so much this weekend, and I know it's going to be an event that happens next year. So it's like, yeah, if you see this year, make sure you keep an eye out for next year because it's going to be probably even bigger and better next year. There was absolutely none of that in this group. And so I was texting my friend, like, hey, what's going on? She said, there's nothing. Like, a couple people who I've seen post a lot. I went to their private Facebook profiles and they've posted like, "Hey, I'm at the beach today," or "Hey, this was a fun event," but there's no details. There's nothing. And this is where I might have gone a little rogue, but I said, "What if you just write in the group and say, what's going on with the summit? I want to live vicariously through you guys because I really wanted to go this year." And then she got kicked out of the group. They literally kicked her out of the group because she asked about the summit. But isn't this a summit that you were selling tickets to, that you were publicly offering to people because it's so valuable? So I was at a loss. I was like, what am I going to do for this video? I really wanted to provide an update for you guys. I was so nervous. I was going to have absolutely nothing. And I was like, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait until like the latest I can wait on Monday night and then see what I can gather from some different groups. I've been following local groups. I've been trying to see anyone post anything that can give me any kind of information about what happened during this summit. And I even went so far to ask some other friends to infiltrate the group, and I've had to like unfriend them from Facebook because I'm sure they're vetting like any new member now because I'm like, I just want new information. But don't worry, you guys. I have one last source that was able to actually provide some information, some real, tangible information. You can't hide from me, Jeff. You can't hide. That's not a threat for legal purposes. That is not a threat. Oh my gosh. It's just a joke because I'm hilarious sometimes. So, what I learned was the Twin Flames Universe Spiritual Summit did happen. Where was it held? Well, it was held in part at the Great Wolf Lodge. Yes, that one that you've probably seen ads for children, the like family hotel where you can go and do the water park and all that fun stuff. And they had the wedding on Sunday at the Cathedral Barn at Historic Barns Park. And yes, they were all in Traverse City. And someone else shared, I'm keeping everyone anonymous simply because I don't want them to get kicked out of the group because we need this intel, y'all. Someone writes, none of this is advertised in Traverse City. I'm in Traverse City daily, and there was nothing to say anything. I can absolutely guarantee you they did it that way on purpose because we've all seen the Netflix documentary. Everyone's heard about it, etc. Obviously, they even know they're a fraud and a scam because us locals would tear them apart. And just to remind you guys, they had a location in mind, and then there was local public outrage, and it switched locations, and then there were complaints again. And I believe they had to change locations a second time. And that, I believe, is why they've been so hush hush because they weren't going to be able to have this event anywhere because everyone was complaining they kept losing their locations. So they had to not expose where the event was going to be simply so they could have the event in the first place And I think it's safe to make the assumption that they were terrified of there being any media coverage because, myself included, many people have joked about, oh, let's show up and protest the event. I'm sure they did not want that to happen. I've even posted in Traverse City Facebook groups trying to figure out any details, and I have received no information from locals. So it has not been, there has been barely any information about it. Doing it in the heat of tourist season and on top of that with zero advertisement, that should be a huge red flag. Yet somehow they're still functioning. Yeah, these tickets ended up becoming, they started off at being $555 for the early bird ticket pricing, and they went up to $700, and that was not including room and board and food. $700 to basically go meet Jeff and Shalia. So finally, yesterday, someone else was able to get a little bit of intel from the open forum. And they said, reflecting on the Spiritual Life Summit this morning, I'm getting emotional. So much love. It was amazing meeting people in person. It felt so normal and effortless. This is so sad to me because it just goes to show that these are people that don't have a supportive community in their own real lives. And I've talked about the dangers of spiritual summits before when I've talked about Bentino Massaro and Teal Swan, but maybe I'll do just like a generalized the reasons why going to some of these retreats and summits is actually really, really dangerous. So let me know if that's a video that you would be interested in either watching or sharing as a resource. But part of it is because let's say you are feeling lonely, you feel like you don't have a community at home, you go to this summit and everyone's love bombing you and you're all there for similar reasons and you feel like you finally belong somewhere and you're on this high. And then you go home and you have no real tangible tool to help yourself feel better in your real life, in the real life current situation that you are in. So then you feel even lower than before. So the peaks and valleys of being really, really happy and excited and being like really sad and low, they become way further apart. And so you're constantly like chasing that feeling of happiness, of belonging, that high. And then you kind of subconsciously start equating that feeling of belonging, that high, with the group, with the cult, with Jeff and Shalia. And then you want to start getting more involved. You want to have more access to them. And then when they say, hey, come join our commune, you're like, yes, please. You're the only place that makes me feel like I belong. Not to say that they have a commune opening or that they will, but it has been speculated that that was part of why they were having this summit in their own hometown. This writer goes on, it was my first time to meet Jeff, Shalia, and Grace in person. So much love. They are beautiful inside and out. A precious moment. Thank you, with gratitude. My wife and I have been so hurt in the past with relationships, family, and community. This event was so incredibly healing. It put broken pieces back into place. The wedding was absolutely beautiful. I loved seeing the parents. The dances were so emotional. Christina's dad looked so incredibly proud. Daniel's words to his mom was so powerful. She was such a strong influence in his foundation with God. Okay, I'm really glad that their family was there. I was really worried about that. The HTFU Union dance really stood out to me as magically special as well, with the sun 1,000 years. We counted it as our first dance as well. We got married over 4 years ago, but didn't dance. The 1,000 Years song was played at our COU wedding. It's so special to us. It was beautiful seeing all the other couples dancing together. We will definitely need a bigger dance floor in the future to fit all the coming harmonious unions. I will remember this event forever. Thank you, God. I'm sure a lot of people who have been searching for their harmonious union for a long time like flocked to this event because they thought they would meet them there and then maybe they did and now who knows if it's a true honest union and not just kind of clouded by this like love bombed, misguided connection when you're already feeling all of these like euphoric happy things. Like, is it a real genuine connection? That's my concern. So when they were first marketing the event, they said there were going to be 2 days of workshops, and apparently these workshops were held in a conference center at a hotel, maybe the Great Wolf Lodge, with all the children screaming down the lazy river on the other side of the wall. I don't know, but they did have their workshops on topics, it looks like. It does not appear to have had a massive attendance. but I'm honestly not 100% sure. Since it was so hard to get any information about the summit, I was like, did it even happen? People were speculating because Shalia had been posting some pictures at the beach while the conference was supposed to be going on. But then we discovered later that there was an event where everyone went to the beach. I think that they are just trying to keep it as hush hush as possible. Like, it seems to be getting, like, more and more culty, and I'm sure that they're making all of their inner circle members feel like they belong, like they're important. If they know about the event, then they are special in some way, and all of us plebeians on the outside, we can't gain access because we're just not vibrating high enough or whatever they want to say about us. We're just haters. I'm so mad at the good job they've done at keeping us out of the know, but I will find a way. I will find a way. This is like my new summer goal. I was just anticipating more people singing their praises about the summit. So it's been shocking to me that there's not more information out there, but I will be updating you as soon as I can. There is another private forum that I am a part of where I did ask as well any updates on the summit, and someone was kind enough to share. The conference was at a hotel and the wedding at a barn looking outdoor venue. Not too many attended, or as many as they said. So it sounds like it wasn't as highly attended as they were making it seem. Time was spent at their house as well. So some of the people did go spend time at their home. Someone else responded to my question and said, no clue, but I'd love to know as well. It doesn't seem like they were spotted anywhere in Traverse City or Sutton's Bay by locals. It's also peculiar that none of the prominent members posted about the summit and that Shalia was posting beach pics on the weekend at an hour that would otherwise be when the summit was going on. It also seems like they stopped advertising or speaking about the summit publicly after the ticket sale window closed. It seems they either canceled it or kept it super secretive. The latter would be surprising to me because they are generally very sloppy leaders. And someone responded to that and confirmed, well, they all went to the beach too. The person who is providing a lot of information in this other forum said, only a few people have posted extolling how wonderful it was, and meeting Jeff and Shalia was the highlight. Those two are bloody worshipped by their followers. The wedding venue was small, but everyone was dressed to the nines. Over time, others will likely post, but it's all the same stuff. They had a great time. It was magical. We love Jeff and Shalia, etc. Rather nauseating. I have to admit that going into this video, I thought I would have a lot more information for you. This is the first time I've made a Twin Flames universe update where I am having a really difficult time getting information. That leads me to believe that this group is getting even more closed off, even more tight knit, even more tight lipped. And it concerns me because I feel like it means that there's a lot more control being exerted over the followers now, and they are going to be even less likely now to seek out other information, especially if they're kind of presenting this information as privileged in a way. Like, oh, we can share this with you because you're special. You're a part of our inner circle and everyone wants to know about this. Oh, the open forum is fine for anyone who wants to take some courses, but you guys are our inner circle. You're the closest ones to us. And this is where the territory gets really murky, where things get really, really dangerous for those closest to Jeff and Shalia. So I do feel deeply, deeply concerned for them, and most likely they will never even see this video, which is concerning in and of itself. All I can do and all we can do, I think, at this point is to continue spreading awareness as much as we can. It does seem like their numbers are dwindling, and if they're this afraid to speak out publicly about how great they are, then it does tell me that perhaps this is the beginning of the end for this organization, but I don't know. They're being really sneaky and they're using some tactics that we have seen before, and in the future, it might only become more and more difficult to get the inside scoop. And if that's the case, it could become more and more dangerous for those who are the most closely attached to Jeff and Shalia. And so let's all just try to be empathetic towards the followers, be understanding to their situation, and try to approach conversations with them if you do know anyone with some of the tactics that I shared in my previous video from Sunday. I'll try to remember to link that one up here. It's getting to be kind of a tricky situation. Something else that's really frustrating is I had interviewed last year a counselor who was really concerned about the MAP program that Twin Flames Universe, it's like one of their offshoot brands or businesses where they basically believe they're like remapping your emotional workings of your brain, and they use it as a tool or modality to treat and heal PTSD. And the person who's kind of responsible for that aspect of it is rolling in a ton of money. She recently shared that she just purchased a Porsche. I'm not a fancy car person, but I know those cars cost a lot of money. And so to know that she is exploiting and continuing to exploit some of the people who need the most psychological help, and they're not receiving it the way she's claiming she's providing it, and the fact that it's a part of Jeff and Shalia's program is just so infuriating. So on one hand, I'm like, let's keep talking about this, but on the other hand, I'm like, if we keep talking about this, are they going to just get quieter and quieter and quieter, and is it going to become more and more dangerous for the followers? But I'm also comforted in knowing that when people look up the summit, they're going to find videos like this that are critical of Jeff and Shalia. And hopefully, new people won't get sucked into this organization or this cult. And I can only hope that the people that are really deeply ingrained, that are really deep in this circle, find a way to escape, because I don't foresee it ending very positively for them. Anyways, guys, I feel like this update wasn't as satisfying as any of us wanted to be, but it is a really good reminder to continue talking about this stuff and to continue creating awareness and learn as much as possible. And please, guys, you guys do a really great job already in the comments, but please make sure that this is a safe space for victims and survivors. Please make sure that in the comments we're being respectful towards anyone that is a cult victim or cult survivor. I want this to be a safe space for people to share their experiences, because if we don't provide a safe environment to kind of catch people when they fall out of these groups, they will never feel safe coming out or speaking out. And that's my goal with this channel, is to help people move on from cults and get out of cults. So please keep the comments respectful. Most of you are great. If you've been here a while, my OGs are always amazing. So as always, I appreciate your support. Please let me know if there's a cult deep dive that you would like me to cover. I have some good ones in the bucket that I'm really excited to dive into. But if there's anything that you're like, I need to know about this, please let me know. I would love to do a deep dive for you. Thank you guys all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And once again, I need to say thank you to my sponsor, Ara, for sponsoring this video. Remember to stay safe out there, ask questions, and always stay skeptical. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Thanks so much. Bye.